Loved ones are grieving the death of Rebecca Contois. The 24-year-old's remains were found in North Kildonan, which led investigators to the Brady landfill. Tuesday, human remains were discovered.
Winnipeg police have charged Jeremy Skibicki with first-degree murder for allegedly killing 3 more Indigenous women from March to May.
Police say Morgan Harris and Mercedes Myron were murdered last spring. Their remains ended up in this landfill.
So what we're left with is the potential task of searching for human remains across a 4-acre site that was 40 feet in depth, heavily compacted with 9,000 tons of wet, heavy construction clay, and distributed throughout the site was 250 tons of asbestos. When we're looking for human remains, or when it comes up that there might be human remains at a landfill, we approach that with the mindset that we're going to be searching. That's our default mindset. It was with respect to Brady, and it was with respect to Prairie Green. But in the interest of the safety of our members doing the search, and whether or not we have any potential to be successful in that search, we have to look at the specific site and the issues it presents. And that's what we did here. And when we presented it, we made the very difficult decision as a service that this wasn't operationally feasible.
Is human life not feasible? And I should not have to come here and be so mad and beg so that you will find and bring our loved ones home.
The Indigenous-led feasibility study will also include a member of the Winnipeg Police Service. The government of Manitoba will of course participate as well, and we will provide any technical resources and expertise that are needed and contribute to the effort financially. I spoke to Prime Minister Trudeau as well this morning, and he has pledged financial support for the feasibility study and offered additional assistance as needed.
And now a long-awaited feasibility study says that search is possible, and First Nations leaders say it must happen.
If a search is not carried out, it will demonstrate to all First Nations across Canada that this government condones the despairing act of disposing of First Nation women in landfills.
This is not about funding, this is about the safety, and it was in the report itself. This is about the safety of those individuals who would be conducting the search. I mean, the landfill is full of toxic waste, and that is identified in the report. And in the report itself, identified, that there are safety risks, and we are very concerned about that. But I do just want to say as well, I mean, my heart goes out to the families. This is a very, very difficult time for them. And, what we want to do and what we had indicated to those families that we met with yesterday and last week is that we want to help them through this healing process. And so we have offered some funding for that. We've offered more funding for MMIWG2S individuals as well who are at risk in these situations.
It's unbelievable. They won't. She's a human being. That's my granddaughter.
I am disheartened, and I am absolutely baffled at how things went down.
You are not going to step up. I ask that you step down.
And feasible to search the landfill.
Holland says the proposed search area is about the size of 2 Canadian Football League fields. Dumping on 2 cells within the landfill stopped when police learned the women were there. 34 days of waste would have to be excavated and examined on conveyor belts.
As long as they had the necessary training, they took the necessary precautions, wore the right PPE, I think it absolutely can be done in a safe manner.
These are my sister's remains in a landfill. It's hard enough that I have to stand in front of these cameras and grieve while fight to get her home. I don't need stuff added on.
Stephenson initially said no to a search in July. Now, trailing the NDP in the polls, the PCs are drawing attention to their continuing opposition. Stephenson made the landfill search her first question to the NDP's Wab Kinew in a televised debate last week.
Why are you willing to put $184 million and Manitoba workers at risk for a search without a guarantee?
PCs then took out this full-page ad in the Saturday Free Press.
Two years ago to the day yesterday, the Harris family found out the news that launched this entire process. Yesterday, on exactly the 2-year anniversary of that, we returned to the site with both the Harris and the Myron families, and we stood with them in ceremony. And this morning, I was there with 2 family members as we watched that first blue truck of landfill material come down to the search facility.
And I wasn't expecting it so soon because of how hard we had to fight for this and how hard we've been fighting for the past 2 years. No family, no person should go through what we went through. And again, to every one of you that said no, to every one of you that didn't believe in us, do better. Do better. How could you?
Honorable Speaker, our government erred. It's as simple as that. We went forward and followed advice to emphasize prosecution above all. We lost our way in regards to empathy and also lost our way in regards to closure being brought forward to the families of the victims. I offer today our unconditional apology to the families of Morgan Harris, Mercedes Myron, Rebecca Contois, and Buffalo Woman. We will, as L. Harris requested, be better as a party moving forward.